Yeah, I don't even need a co-commentator, right? But alright, yeah, we're underway here. And we're going to be starting off with Forest Follies. What we're going to see the runners be doing here is collecting the 8 coins they need to basically do the most important glitch in the game. We're going to see them gather 3 coins here from the Apple Kid, which is a short little dialogue text. And from there, they're going to hop straight into Forest Follies, which will be the only run and gun that we'll be doing in this category. This run and gun is really, really difficult. It's all about optimizing your dashes, and luckily, Jason here on your right is probably the best runner at Forest Follies currently in the game. He's probably one of the only people that can get a 32 in this with no charms or anything while collecting all the coins. We'll be looking for a pretty difficult clip here at the end of the level, and Jason gets it there. And he'll be looking with a nice time as Sonja unfortunately takes a death. It doesn't look like Jason's audio is working, or maybe I just can't. And yeah, now Jason will be moving to the shop to where he's going to be buying both the weapons that he needs. One will be the roundabout, and the other will be the bobber. These 2 weapons have a very good cooldown to use together with the weapon swap, and unfortunately Sonja taking another death in Forest Follies. That's going to put her quite behind Jason, who is onto the first boss of the race now. There's really not much to say here about the root pack. It's a pretty straightforward boss. It's basically just spamming your machine gun of bullets that you'll see Jason doing as he's mashing as fast as he can down in the bottom left corner of the screen to do the weapon swap glitch that I was talking about earlier. And he got a lot of lava EXs. The 2 specials that the weapons can shoot, the roundabout shoots a large boomerang which can loop around, and the lava shoots that big purple ball. We're gonna be hoping for a lot of lava EXs. We don't really have control over which EX we get because we're spamming. And Sonja will be making out of Forest Follies now, and moving on to the first boss in just a moment as well. Jason's now moving on to the second boss, Ribby and Croak. And he's going to get the good pattern. The frogs have 2 patterns that you can get. One will be the fireflies, and Jason gets 6 flies, which is pretty good RNG. I believe you can get 5 or 7 flies. 6 makes it pretty good to get the skip, and you'll see Jason getting that right here. Normally in the second phase, the frogs will spin like a... not really sure what, like a fan basically, and shoot balls at you. And by skipping that, Jason goes straight to the third phase, which is the slot machine, and it saves about 8 to 10 seconds, and can take the fight down from like a 57 or a 52 to like a 46, 44. Sonja entering the root pack now. And you'll see her turn around and shoot 3 roundabouts behind her. Some bosses have brief stints of invincibility where they take actually no damage from any weapon. So we'll try to take advantage of that by timing our shots so they hit the boss as soon as those frames end. And Sonja is going to be making quick work of the root pack as Jason moves on to Goopy. Really not too much to say about Goopy. He's can be quite annoying to hit for new runners or just casual players of the game in general, but you'll see Jason has no problem of basically transforming him into his third phase very quickly. And I believe he only got like 4 or 5 hops. So that should be like a 21 or a 22. Yeah, 21. I want to take note here that Jason will be going into the first plane level coming up here in about 30 seconds. The first plane level, arguably one of the more difficult plane levels in the state in the run. There's a very, very tight glitch that is a 10 to 15 HP window that you'll see Jason be attempting here. He was getting it tonight in his run, so hopefully we'll see him get it here as well. And you saw Sonja there, unfortunately, did not get the second phase skip in Ruby and Croak, so you did see the somewhat of the fan that I was talking about. She did get the weaker version of the fan. And Hilda's basically all about making sure you're always connecting your pea shooter shots. You always want to be connecting those, because this is a very, like I said, it's a 10 to 15 HP window, so you really can't really afford to miss too many shots. You'll see Jason hold off on his nuke here, because he was waiting for a second attack, which he unfortunately didn't get. So he will not have enough time to build up that one card EX to get the glitch that he needed there, unfortunately. We'll have to see Jason go through all 3 phases of Hilda, which is about 10 seconds slower usually. The final phase of Hilda is a big moon with some UFO saucers. A lot of people don't know this, but the red ones actually shoot later, and the gray ones shoot earlier. So it's a good tip to help avoid damage on that fight. As Sonja moves on to Goopy now as well, so she's one boss behind Jason. Roughly 2, since Jason is just about to finish up this fight, and Hilda is quite the long one. Hilda is definitely the longest fight on aisle 1, without a doubt. And Jason with the 113. Unfortunately, if he would have got the 112, his run would have been blessed, and he maybe would have gotten this sub 24 that he's hunting for. Jason is actually very close to being the 3rd person to get a sub 24 in this category. He is 2 seconds away from it. He got a 24:01 the other day. So he is actually one of the top runners in this category.
Here's a real high-class belt. And begin.
Jason's moving on to Cagney now, which a lot of people say has the best soundtrack in the game, and Jason playing very, very safe there, dashing to the final flower. Normally you'll see him, what he just did there is jump in EX to avoid the damage. I guess, I'm not sure if he didn't have a card, or just there was a lot of things coming at him, so he just dashed away. But 26 isn't too bad. And that is the final boss, actually, of Island 1. And now Jason will be moving on to Isle 2. And this is where the real bits of RNG get thrown into the game with Baroness von Bonbon. He can throw 3 different mini-bosses at you. And depending on those mini-bosses, they can either lose... They can basically just cost you time. So we're gonna hope that Jason does not get the Jawbreaker, because its death animation is really, really long. I believe the candy corn isn't an optimal candy to get either first, because as you can see, you do have the damage boost, and it does take quite a bit to kill. And you'll see the Jawbreaker here, very long death animation. Waffle Lass is very good for Jason. This will allow him to get the Bonbon quick kill. If you're able to kill the 3rd minion fast enough, she does not pull out her shotgun, which she normally would do in this 3rd phase. If she does pull out her shotgun in her 3rd phase, since this game is wonderfully broken, she gains invulnerability frames for a couple of seconds, so it makes it really, really hard to kill her. And now you'll see Jason picking up, he's going to talk to this guy. I'm not actually sure what this guy is, but he is going to be grabbing bombs from him. And you'll notice a distinct difference in this plane level than you did from Hilda. We'll be able to be using a similar weapon swapping glitch that we do on the ground fights here now in the plane levels as well, picking up bombs. It's not just straightforward mashing. It's basically a rhythmic tap. Just 2 quick taps back and forth. And that way you never stop shooting bullets, and you can really maximize your damage output. As Jason's making a very, very quick work of Wally. And Sonja is just finishing up aisle 1 as well. with a 27 on Cagney. And Shu will be looking probably to get on to aisle 2 at about 9:20. And Jason is just finishing up Wally at 9:05. So they're just probably about 2 minutes behind, give or take here. Maybe a little bit more. Jason will be moving on to another plane level now. The Jimmy the Great. This fight, you'll see Jason will be abusing an off-screen hitbox here with the plane bombs to lock Jimmy in his sarcophagus phase. There's a common theme in this game to where if you kill one phase before the next one begins, you can lock that boss in that transition phase, so he never actually has to transition, and you're able to maximize your DPS, because normally in these transition phases, the boss's hitbox is off screen or they're in home. And you'll see Jason sitting to the back here and dropping bombs. That's how he's going to lock the Genie here, as well as shooting these EXs across the Genie's faces. They actually do more damage than anything else to the face. So it's just a little bit, makes the fight a little bit faster. This is a bit Monka-esque though for Jason going in with 1 HP, because this fight's basically up to the gods. So he's going to play it a little bit safe. Normally you want to be right up in his face, but as you can see, these ghosts fly out of the sarcophagus very quickly, and they can sneak up on you and really just take you out. So I'm just going to finish up Bonbon there. She was able to get the quick kill as well, which is very nice. You can see that they got the quick kill as Baroness rips up the floor as she tries to move away. Yeah, the cat RNG on Jimmy has not been on Jason's side tonight. Jason's going to be moving on to Beppy now as Sonja moves into Wally. We'll see if Jason gets a very cool glitch here. I'm sure Jason will get it. If he doesn't, he will probably restart the fight. And Jason does get it. Beppy glitch is the most colorful glitch in the game. There's a lot of things going on here, and it is one of the bigger time saves. It makes this fight about 20 seconds faster. As you can see, by killing phase 1, or killing phase 2 in phase 1, it'll spawn phase 3 and 4 very quickly, allowing for about a 30-second fight. And that was a very nice Beppy glitch in fight for Jason. Sonja moving on to the third phase of Wally now. She has 2 HP, so she should be feeling pretty comfortable coming up to the last phase here. Doing the last phase of Wally can be pretty tight, because he has basically 1 or 2 patterns. He's either going to move to the left and shoot his heart, or he's going to move to his right. If he moves to his left and you have 1 HP, you get pinched in the corner, and it makes it really, really hard to survive, as you'll see here on Sonja's screen. But luckily with 2 HP, she's able to tank 1 damage and finish the fight. Jason's moving on to Grim Matchsticks now, who has another phase lock as well, similar to Jimmy and Beppy. We'll see if he gets it. He did get the Meteor pattern, which is the good pattern, we call it, for Dragon, because it gives you the longer first phase. Jason does not get the glitch, though, so you will see him have to fight phase 3. Luckily in Legacy, though, the back of the Dragon's heads do not have a hitbox. So he will just be able to stand behind the dragon and finish the fight. That can be very risky because you are left up to are there clouds there or not. Luckily, Jason had 3 HP and was able to finish the fight very safely and quite quickly as well. 34 is not the best time, but it is very good. We'll see if Sonja opts to go for the Jimmy glitch here as well. It's a very hard glitch to pull off, let alone survive. And with Jason finishing up Grim Matchsticks, we are on to the best part of the run to see if we're going to get any B RNG. And this is the first boss that we fight on aisle 3. This boss has 2 somewhat quick kills. The good RNG, we'll talk about it if we get it, which is the middle pattern. and Jason is not going to get it. So you won't see the fast version of the kill, which is killing the bee in her first attack phase. Jason will probably get the second version, which will be killing her when she pulls out her spell book to transform into a plane. Hopefully Jason will kill her before that and save himself some time here. Alright, and Jason is able to finish that fight beforehand, as Sonja did not do the Jimmy glitch. As you can see, she fought the last phase there, threw the puppet onto his face. It does make the fight a little bit longer, but it definitely is the much safer strategy. If you make it to his, basically the last two phases with 2 HP, it's pretty easy and comfortable. Pretty easy and comfortable fight with the strategies we have for it. Yeah, that is 723 Diggity. So let's pull out the good old calculator here. 7 out of 23. That's a 30% ratio, so that's pretty good. But we don't want to miss the opportunity to mention what Jason is doing right now as well. Jason is on to the Dr. Call robot fight, and as you'll see him pull off the glitch there very nicely. If you are familiar with the game, the robot does die there on simple percent. We are playing the game on regular. It's just that, for some reason, the boss's damage ratios are all messed up with that heart, and you're able to shoot 2 EXs of the bomb type, which they shoot little missiles, and each of those little missiles hit for 150 HP each, basically adding up to the entire boss's health. Hey, how's it going, gamer? And yeah, Sonja missing Beppy glitch, so you will also see her having to fight the entire Beppy fight here as well. Which, sometimes Beppy, he can really just bump super quickly, or if you'll get a nothing. Getting a nothing is basically when you're spamming your weapon swap and you hit an EX, but nothing shoots out. The game just does that because you have no actual weapon to equip between the swaps, and that can really mess up your DPS and throw off getting the glitch, which I believe is what happened to Sonja there. Jason with a really nice Dally fight, though. That was very clean. Sonja is moving on to the final boss of Island 2. And let's see if she's able to pull off the Grim Matchstick glitch here, as Jason will be moving on to Werner Vormann, which isn't really much to talk about there. It's basically just shoot forward. Then you're just gonna opt to take a parry there, see if it pays off. He does get the meteor pattern, which should give her, hopefully, enough time to get the glitch here.
A brawl is surely brewing. Here goes.
Looks like she does just get it, but unfortunately she gets it with the fire guy, so they can jump up and damage her at any time here. Jason moving on to the final phase of Tom and Jerry. I believe that was a pretty decent fight from Jason, yeah, 33. Jason's on mid-24 pace right now. Might actually be a little bit quicker. Jason is moving on to another very heavy RNG dependent boss, though, as Sonja does move into the B. So to make sure we keep track of if he gets the good pattern or not, while I talk about Briny Beard. Briny can give you a bunch of different attacks. Basically what you want to see is a squid and a summon, or a squid gun, a machine gun attack, and a summon like Jason gets here. That should allow you to 2-cycle him quite easily, which, not 2-cycle, but 2-attack cycle him, basically, which puts him into his final phase very quickly, and allows for sometimes high 20s and low 30 kills. And Sonja gets the RNG. And she gets the middle pattern. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to see the quick kill, but we do appreciate the good RNG nonetheless. And a 41, very nice from Sonja there. And Sonja will now be moving on to the Dr. Call glitch. And I know this glitch for me is really, really hard with when there's some nerves on, so hopefully Sonja's able to pull it off. As Jason moves on to Calamaria, which we haven't seen anybody soft block this boss yet, but this boss is soft blockable by killing her Medusa head phase too early. He needs to transform into that phase, otherwise she disappears into the sea, never to be seen again. You can still kill her by shooting bombs into the ocean, but it takes a very long time. You're better off just resetting the fight. Right, and Jason wasn't very close to a soft block there, so he's going to move on, hopefully here at the end of Calamaria, and it looks like he will finish that up. And Sonja's about to be attempting the glitch, and she does a little bit too much damage, it looks like, to the heart before being able to get off her final EX. But that's okay. This is a very, very hard glitch to get. So retrying is something you'll probably see quite often here from the runners in these races. Jason will now be moving on to the final boss of Aisle 3, which is Phantom Express. This is one of the longer fights in the game as well. Let's see if Jason's able to really use his movement well here to pull it off. This stage really tests your ability to control Cuphead more than anything. This time just going in for the EX and unfortunately doesn't get it. Jason moving on to the third phase of the train here. I don't know if he'll opt to tank this to make it quicker with 2 HP. We'll see what he decides to do here. Looks like Sonja's in a little bit better health now for the glitch. Let's see if she's able to do it. Yeah, and Jason did opt to tank the hit there, so he's going into the final phase with 1 health. Can be a little bit tricky. Those fireballs can be quite hard to see sometimes when you're jumping up there, but Jason makes quick work of the final phase. And that was probably a mid-50. Yeah, 57. Jason's actually moving on now to the final 2 bosses of the game, King Dice and the Devil in Inkwell Hell. These are... I wouldn't say they're particularly the hardest bosses in the game, but King Dice is definitely the longest fight, as you have to fight 3 mini-bosses along your path. The path we'll see Jason take here is going to be the numbers 2, 5, and 9, because you have to roll your dice to move across the board. These are the fastest mini-bosses on the board, as we were able to find out through checking their HP values, and just through vigorous routing, obviously. Their hitboxes are a little odd, and Jason's luckily going to get... It looked like he had 1 or 2 hearts on the board, so that's basically the only RNG you're dealing with in this fight, is if you're getting hearts or not. If you get hearts, you're allowed to play a bit more aggressively, which you'll see Jason doing immediately, taking a damage boost right away. And because if you can make it to King Dice with 2 or 3 HP, you don't really need to worry about parries, and you can just spam straight through him. Yeah, Jason gets 1 heart. So that's pretty good. And Sonja does finish up the robot glitch there. Very nice. And she will be moving on to Sally. As Jason moves on to the second mini-boss here in King Dice, which is the Dominoes. Dominoes can be quite tricky, and you can kind of just get hit out of nowhere. As you can see there, Jason basically would have had to land on that domino or dash backwards and lose a lot of damage. Luckily, he got the knockout right in time, so he wasn't really forced to make that choice. Jason will be moving on to number 9 here, which is a nice little skip that we have, which basically just involves scrolling this boss off of the screen and he dies. Not really sure why this works. but I'm not going to complain about it because this is the longest casual fight in the game. You have to match these memory cards, and it only allows you to do a certain amount of damage to the monkey. And Jason's going to get the skip there first try, which is very nice. As Sonja finishes up with Sally. And she will now be moving on to Tom and Jerry as well. Who, again, is just a pretty straightforward fight. Doesn't really involve too much dodging. His attacks are pretty straightforward. As Jason doesn't parry the cards, as you see there with 3 health, he's able just to tank and shoot. And the 130 king dice, that's very good. And Jason is, yeah, he's on low 24 pace here. As Sonja is going to be moving on now to the second phase of Warner. Hopefully she'll be able to dodge the flames so she can move on comfortably to the final phase. As Jason moves on into the Devil, we'll probably see a bit of new tech from him that was discovered recently by a runner, Geo. It's called the Geo Buffer. Jason on 1 HP, though, which can be a little bit dangerous. What we'll see Jason do here is go for a little bit of a pause buffer. And that allows you to start shooting EXs and bullets straight away. Normally when you drop down into that phase, you will be locked for a couple of seconds, but fortunately now with this new technique, you can save about a second or so. Jason with a 24-13. That's a very, very good race time. And that's 12 seconds off of his PB. So it's just an impressive time overall from him. Let's get some GGs for Jason. Very good. As Sonja moves on to Bryony, and you'll see a little bit of the RNG I was talking about earlier, as Bryony is not going to be so nice to Sonja, as she gives him the Sea Dogs, as we like to call it. But yeah, the Sea Dogs are quite tricky to get optimal damage off and survive. And it looks like Sonja probably will be wrapping up with the first phase here and moving on to the final phase of Bryony. Like he's going to play it a little bit safe. And a knockout. See if Jason wants to come in and talk about it. And Sonja's going to be moving on to Cala Maria now. Which, again, she also is another one of these bosses that has a couple of different attack patterns. A few of them are very good for runners, a few of them are bad. Ghost attack first is never really a nice one. Some runners will just opt to tank those, take 2 damage right off the bat, which does make the rest of the fight risky. Sonja will play it safe, and I don't blame her for doing that at all by avoiding the damage. And Sonja's going to dodge the Petrifying Gaze there. On Legacy, you can dodge the gaze simply by just moving right above the eye line. And I think we have Jason in here. Hey, Jason, how's it going?
Good, how's it going?
Good. Yeah, that was a really good run for a 24-13 in a race.
Thanks.
Really,
Yeah,
really
it was, the run started out really, really amazing, and then when I got to Hilda, I just can't believe I messed up. I just used my nuke a little bit too. I don't know what I did exactly. I must have done just enough damage to force Hilda into her second dash attack, like without attacking for a second time. So it really screwed me up. I ended up losing like 16 seconds there compared to my PB. But the rest of the run went pretty good.
Yeah, it was a pretty
shame.
solid. Yeah, it looks like you tried to hold off your nuke there, yeah, on Hilda, and she just didn't give you that second attack. That was what did you get, Tornado first?
I think so. Yeah, I got Tornado first, and I did enough damage to just barely get the nuke, but apparently I thought I killed enough minions where I could get the nuke, and it would be like under the amount of damage that it would take for her to start transforming again, but I must have counted wrong, so she transformed. That kind of ruined my sub 24 chances, but I still had a pretty decent run. No BRNG, of course. I got I didn't get BRNG at all practicing beforehand. That's probably like out of 7 attempts. So pretty unlucky, but other than that, it was a really solid run. I'm really happy with this.
Yeah, and you got cats again on Genie as well, I noticed.
Yeah, of course. And then I don't know, something happened. Like, I don't know if like a pop-up came on my computer or something, but like something flashed and it lagged my screen for a second. And then my weapon swapping was like backwards in the beginning. So I lost a bit of time and he sent out like a second cat attack in the first phase, which usually doesn't happen to me, but that kind of threw me off a little bit. But I still ended up turning it around, having a decent time on that fight.
Yeah, that was I was surprised with your time as well when you were on 1 HP and you played it a bit safe too in the sarcophagus phase.
Yeah, and still I got a 54, I think, and I'm not sure how that happened.
Yeah, it was very good.
It worked out.
Yeah, and your Grim worked out for you this time. We were also struggling with that a little bit in practice.
Yeah.
That didn't get the glitch, but you still got a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, overall,
pretty decent run.
Yeah, you were close. You're so close, but so far still. It's basically gonna be your motto for a little bit.
It'll come one of these days. I hope I get it in a tournament match.
That would be amazing if you get it in a race.
This is pretty early in the tournament still, and it's been a couple of close calls. Has anyone else, like, no one's gotten a sub 24 yet? Like, what's been the best time in the tournament? I haven't been paying attention to all the matches.
I think Wolf got like a 24:05 or 24:06 in in a race versus Death Frost, I believe. Yeah, that's what Wolf came in and said after his first race on his interview that he wants to be the first sub 24 in the tournament. So,
oh man, I gotta get that before he does.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the titles left to be claimed. That's for sure. But yeah, you're always a great wonder to watch in this game. You are extremely talented at Cuphead. It is amazing.
Thanks, man. I look forward to watching this VOD over afterwards too, just to hear the commentary, because I know you're doing it solo, but I still you know, I'm sure you did a good job. Can't wait to watch.
Yeah, it was a good time. You know, I don't think I stopped talking much.
That's fine. That's how I get too. If I've done commentary only with other people before, but then whenever I was I did a run in the Cal Fire Relief Marathon last week, and I felt like whenever I'm on the spot giving commentary, I just have to fill all the silence with words. So I just keep talking.
Yeah, absolutely.
Probably babble on and on.
You just gotta keep going,
things.
even if like you don't even know what you're saying. I started this sentence. I don't know where it's gonna end, but it will end
eventually, or maybe it won't. Who knows?
And Sonja here is actually going to take a different route than Jason did on King Dice. She's more comfortable with Cigar, which is Sonja has been running this game, I believe, since this route was discovered, I guess, which was early on. And she's definitely more comfortable with this over the others. And I believe she actually does 7 as well over 8 in Monkey, which is...
Oh, yeah, I remember seeing that in the last match that she was in. That's a pretty interesting route too, because 7's a very difficult boss.
Yeah, you have to keep your parries up, or it's quite difficult with dodging the roulette balls that can fall down. Yeah, let's see what she does. She's gonna go for rabbit. Yeah, so she does mostly the old route. Monkey has a heart though, so that might tempt her soul. I'd love to see her attempt it. I mean, it would be great
to rabbit.
Yeah, she does do rabbit. Yeah.
Let's see how this turns out.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to pop into her stream and try to convince her to do monkeys. Like,
I mean, she got that heart, but if she's not comfortable with the glitch, I mean, we've seen how a bad monkey can go for some people, even for people that are good
at with this debugger and get her learning. And sometimes just what you have to do. It's tough to, especially when like the only way of practicing it is having to just roll to 9. It's so much nicer just to be able to roll like a load just straight into the foot.
Yeah.
But yeah, she does 7 here, which I don't think any other runner of this game does. So that's something you'll only see from Sonja. But I guess it's pretty cool.
And it's her trademark.
Yeah. Yeah, when she rolled that actually on her first race, I thought it was a mistake. Because even watching her runs before, I swear she's never done that. But I guess I've just missed it.
Well, she handled that fight very nicely there.
Yeah, it was very good. And she'll be moving on with 2 HP here. So she'll probably opt to parry some cards to be safe. So she's pretty close to her PB, I believe, about 2 minutes off right now.
Oh, nice.
I know that she was definitely... She always is nervous before the races as well. I don't blame her, though. Crazy nervous before mine.
Yeah, I mean, it's an intense category and game in general, so, you know, major props to everyone that entered the tournament, even for people that are, you know, not as comfortable, haven't played as much as the other people. It's still really impressive, and yeah, you have to give them a lot of props just for coming out here and playing. Yeah,
this is a very, very brutal speed run, especially even at a lower level, and especially at a higher level. The tiniest little mistake, it's just will beat you up over it.
Yeah.
Yeah, now Sonja moving on to the Devil. I don't know if she knows the new Geo Buffer technique, but we did get to see Jason use that, so.
Yeah, I don't know, like, it still doesn't seem like that many people know about it, because it's really only like a week old, and it got kind of buried in Discord pretty quickly. People were talking about it for that one day. So if you didn't check Discord and haven't really watched a bunch of other streams, it kind of just disappeared.
You missed that 3-hour period that had happened. You missed it. But yeah, luckily we are singing in the tournament, so that'll definitely bring some light to it too about the other runners.
Yeah.
But it definitely is a very neat little tech similar to the Wally pause buffer, I believe. Oh, Sonja does know about it. Very nice.
Nice.
Yeah, I got the sweet commentary stream, so I'm a little bit ahead of you. And Sonja's moving on to the final phase here. He should be finishing up. Very good knockout. And 35-26.
Nice. Good game.
Just a quick word. Yeah, it was a great race to commentate. Unfortunately, in this early bracket stage, we do have these matches, you know, to where the runners are kind of Goliath versus David type. But, you know, it's, like, again, like you said, it's just a great thing for everyone to enter.
Oh, yeah.
And just be a part of the community. It's all for fun.
You get experience, you get to be on a speed gaming channel, so it's awesome either way. Like, I had a lot of fun with the last tournament, too, and I didn't place that well. I mean, I didn't get top 3 or anything, but it was still an awesome tournament to be a part of. And, you know, I hope that next time we have a tournament, even, you know, that we continue to grow and get a lot more people involved, because this is a lot of fun.
Hey, Sonja, how's it going?
Oh, it's going.
How
Hey,
you
Sonya, good
feeling?
game.
I'm better now that Dr. Call is gone. And, God, Forest Follies really got me.
Yeah, it did. It did.
Let's just say it's a good thing the mic was not on.
Or would we be hearing some bad from Twitch language?
Oh, just a little. It was rough. It was rough. But GG, Jason. When I saw your time come across, I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, I had a pretty ridiculous run. Like, I've been practicing a lot and doing a few runs, and this is probably the best run that I've had, you know, for the last couple of days that I've been practicing for this. So it ended up all coming together at the right time for me.
Yeah, congratulations. It's awesome.
Thank you.
All right, and Sonja, do you have any highlights that you wanted to add from your run?
I had a good Grim.
Yeah, you did. You did.
Considering that was what I wanted, I didn't want him to kill me 7 times like he did last race.
Yeah, before the race.
I killed him before the killed him before his second phase. So I guess I'll take that.
Nice.
And yeah, I believe that's it from us tonight. We will have more Cuphead. I think there's more tomorrow. Let me double check that for you guys. No, we'll have more Cuphead Friday at 7 a.m. and at 3 p.m. We'll have 2 races that day. And so hopefully you guys will tune into that. And yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in. GG to the runners. And thanks for the game.
Sounds good. Thanks a lot, Takas. And thanks Sonya, for the race. Good game.
Yeah, good
night,
game.
guys.
Have a good night, guys.
Too.
Yep.
See ya.